You walk into a room, and before you even say a word, a decision locks in. Confident, unsure, worth attention, easy to ignore. The moment you enter someone's awareness, their brain scans you instinctively. Within the first few seconds, your social position is set. You felt the physical shift that follows. You instantly adjust your posture. You rehearse what you are about to say. You start needing to prove yourself without even realizing why. That pressure you feel is your mind reacting to a position someone else placed you in. Certain people understand exactly how this works. They don't force anything. They simply stay slightly distant. They delay their responses just enough to make you wait. They look at you as if they are still deciding your worth, engineering a vacuum that forces you to chase their approval. That sudden, heavy urge to earn something from them isn't an accident. It is the exact moment you lose the interaction. You stop acting on your own terms and start reacting to a role they silently assign to you. This invisible placement bleeds into your behavior immediately. You start talking faster. You explain things that didn't need explaining, adding more words just to make sure you're understood. You laugh at things that aren't funny, frantically trying to fix a silence that wasn't a problem until you made it one. Look at the physical contrast in the room. One person stays completely calm, entirely grounded, and perfectly still. The other speeds up, fills gaps, and nervously reaches out to keep the conversation alive. The dynamic is decided. They think less, you think more. This subordinate adaptation feels incredibly natural and socially aware. You adapt to the pressure so smoothly that your submission is completely invisible to you. This is control without confrontation. Nobody told you what to do, yet you moved exactly where they wanted. Your own urge to make the interaction feel less awkward is the weapon they use to move you. The real surrender happens when your attention leaves the interaction in front of you and turns entirely inward. You start monitoring how you sound. You track how you look. You fixate on being perceived. You are no longer present in the room. You are managing yourself inside it. This feedback loop represents a core biological priority: consistency over confidence. Once the external frame places you in a lower position, your internal action begins to align with it. Your brain seeks to match your behavior to the role you've been given. Inside this loop, your own mind actively sabotages you. You hesitate before you speak. You second-guess simple responses, like the moment has suddenly become dangerous. You behave in a way that makes their early judgment of you come true. The initial external judgment is merely the spark. Your brain provides the fuel, actively manufacturing the evidence needed to turn that judgment into your reality. Watch this unfold in a typical professional setting. You walk into a meeting, someone speaks first. Calm, steady, no rush. They set a firm frame. The room adjusts around them. When your turn comes, you speak from tension, adding unnecessary details because the hierarchy was decided before you spoke. Shift to dating, and the mechanism is even more effective. One person stays just out of reach. They respond, but not fully. They show interest, but inconsistently. This calculated distance creates a psychological imbalance. Your brain leans in to close the gap and misinterprets that friction as attraction. Standard social advice tells you to fix this with surface-level tactics: smiling more, speaking louder, projecting confidence. But operating from inside their frame only confirms that you are responding to their lead. Everything you do just proves the power dynamic is working. Once your internal behavior confirms their external judgment, the power dynamic locks in. You are no longer moving through an interaction. You are permanently stuck inside it. Conventional social effort, trying to be more charismatic or articulate, actually solidifies the existing hierarchy. Regaining control requires a total refusal to adopt the assigned position. The execution is entirely passive. When you feel that uncomfortable silence, let it sit. When they delay their response, do not speed up. Slow your own pace down. When met with neutral energy, remain completely still. When you withhold the nervous reaction, social pressure reaches a tipping point. The weight reverses, moving back toward the person who applied it. The result is immediate. The initial frame setter is now the one suddenly adjusting. They are the ones frantically filling the silence. They are the ones trying to figure out where you stand. Absolute control is maintained through complete stillness. The person who reacts first has already yielded their position. Holding your ground is the only way to shatter the frame. Once you hold your position long enough to see this work, you develop a hyper-awareness you can never turn off. You walk into a room and instantly map the structure. You see exactly who is setting the tone, and you spot the precise moment everyone else blindly adjusts to fit inside it. But watching it in others means you must eventually watch it in yourself. You have done this. You've judged someone in seconds. You've responded with less attention, forcing them to chase you without a single conscious thought. These thousands of micro-adjustments, performed in every room for decades, act as a silent mold for your character. If you repeat a reactive behavior long enough, it stops being a social tactic and starts becoming a reflex. It is social conditioning disguised as personality. This realization forces a final, deeply uncomfortable question. When you look at your behavior, your reactions, and your place in the world, how much of it was ever truly your choice?